Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding.
Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here, and in today's video we are going to look at the legendary George Hackenschmidt and his amazing transformation after drinking 11 pints of milk daily, which is the equivalent of more than 5 liters of milk a day, or 5.2 liters to be more precise. That is a huge amount of milk, and this diet was no doubt the progenitor Bronze Era bulk diet that gave rise to the later Silver Era diet known as the Go-Mad diet, or the 1 gallon of milk a day diet. In his book, The Way to Live, which is available on my website as an ebook, www.goldenerabookworm.com, in his biography, George Hackenschmidt talks about his introduction into the iron game and how after being prescribed to drink 5 liters of milk daily by a doctor, he made amazing gains in both muscular size and strength. Just look at this fantastic photo of George Hackenschmidt displaying his bulk and the massiveness he achieved at such a young age. So in today's video, I will be going into the details of his transformation as well as his strength feats after he followed this diet. Enjoy! After an early introduction to gymnastics and weight training during his early teens, George Hackenschmidt became proficient at heavy weightlifting at the age of 18 and also began wrestling. At the age of 20, Hackenschmidt was already proving to be strong and muscular, and his measurements were taken as follows, as described in his book, The Way to Live. His height was 5'8.5 inches, he had a neck of over 18 inches, his biceps were 15 3/5 of an inch straight and over 17 inches flexed, forearms were 13 inches, wrist of 7.5 inches, a chest of almost 45 inches normal and 46 inches expanded, thighs of 23.5 inches, calf of over 15 inches, and his weight was 12 stone, 8 pounds, which is the equivalent of 168 pounds or 80 kilograms. Now let's have a look at some of George Hackenschmidt's strength feats prior to this 5 liters of milk a day diet. Here is a list taken again directly from his book The Way to Live of the strength feats he was able to perform at the age of 20. He could, on December of 1897, perform the following feats: jerk a bar of 216 pounds 12 times using both hands. He could jerk a bar up of 187 pounds 7 times with one hand, and he could press up a bar of 216 pounds with one hand. I mean, these are very, very impressive numbers already. He was really strong. Wow. I mean, these numbers show you what a true prodigy he was already at such a young age, and therefore it is absolutely no surprise that he was taken up by the famous physician and physical culturist and then his mentor, Dr. von Krajewski. Dr. Valdislav von Krajewski was the founder of the St. Petersburg Athletic and Cycling Club and physician to the Tsar of Russia, and he invited Hackenschmidt to stay in his home to oversee his training and nutrition. Von Krajewski promised to turn Hackenschmidt into the strongest man in the world. These are the words that George Hackenschmidt describes in his biography. He promised him to turn him into the strongest man in the world. Of course, who could resist? Who could say no to that if you were in your if you were in your late teens, early 20s, and somebody told you that I'm going to make you a beast? Wouldn't you want to accept that offer? Absolutely. So von Krajewski, having a full gymnasium fitted with all the weights and dumbbells and different equipment for training, often had strong men who would come and visit and practice wrestling. So you can imagine, Hackenschmidt was in heaven. This guy just promised him the world. It is during this time with von Krajewski that the doctor had Hackenschmidt drink 11 pints of milk daily, or 5.2 liters to be precise, along with his regular meals. You heard that right, along with his regular meals being breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, a lot of you guys must be thinking, wow, 5 liters of milk on top of 3 meals a day? Now, I thought I would go through the trouble of calculating the calories because I myself am flabbergasted by reading this in his biography. Now, assuming that George Hackenschmidt had an average breakfast, lunch and dinner with 500 calories per meal, in his 3 meals alone would therefore provide 1,500 calories daily. But add 5 liters of milk to that, and that is an entirely different calorie intake. I mean, 1 liter of milk provides, for example, 630 calories with 34 grams of fat, 49 grams of carbohydrates, and 32 grams of protein. But if my calculations are correct, 5 liters of milk would therefore provide 3,300 calories, 177 grams of fat, this is all approximate, 255 grams of carbohydrates, and 166 grams of protein on top of everything else he is consuming. Now, again, if my calculations are correct, George Hackenschmidt was therefore eating up to 5,000 calories a day. And if we divide the calories in his regular meals evenly, then he would be eating about 230 grams of fat, almost 400 grams of carbs, and almost 200 grams of protein daily. Wow, I mean, what an appetite. He must have had a ridiculous appetite to put that amount of food down and liquid down and still look as fit and strong as he did. His metabolism must have been through the roof. Now, along with his 5,000 calorie a day diet and von Krajewski's exercise regimen, which is again detailed in the book The Way to Live, Hackenschmidt was able to transform his physique. Now, when we compare his previous measurements, which are shown on the right, to his measurements after the tutelage and supervision of Dr. von Krajewski, we see that Hackenschmidt grew in height by 1 inch and gained 18 pounds. And I would dare to say that most of that was muscle, due to the fact that his waist was still rather small and only just over 32 inches. His neck, chest, thighs, and wrist and forearm measurements all went up. And surprisingly, I find this actually very surprising, his arm measurements actually didn't go up, they went down. Nevertheless, Hackenschmidt's transformation during the 5.2 liters of milk a day diet whilst training with von Krajewski was very impressive. How long was he on this nutritional program, you may ask? For 6 months. That's right, according to George Hackenschmidt, he was able to put on almost 20 pounds of, let's say, muscle/body weight in 6 months by training and drinking 5.2 liters of milk a day. Amazing. Now, along with an increase in most of his measurements, including his weight and height, Hackenschmidt's strength also went up. Prior to the 6 months program, he was only able to press, for example, 216 pounds only. Only able to press 216 pounds with one hand. Whilst after 6 months with von Krajewski, he could press 269 pounds. Wow, that's a 50-pound jump in this single strength feat alone. His other strength feats are listed, including his ability to now jerk 300 pounds with 2 hands and perform a 361-pound clean. All these numbers scream power and strength and are very impressive for a young man in his very early 20s. Now, if you're interested in learning more about George Hackenschmidt's nutritional and bodybuilding methods, then I highly recommend you head to my website and check out The Way to Live by George Hackenschmidt, as well as my other selection of Bronze Era Strongmen collection of books, such as those written by Eugene Sandow and others, all at www.goldenerabookworm.com. So it is very obvious that Dr. von Krajewski's diet and training contributed to George Hackenschmidt's strength and influenced both his nutritional principles and his methods of weight training. I find it amazing when I read these stories of the strongmen of the past from these books and what they were able to achieve with whole natural food and free weights. And I have absolutely no doubt that these kinds of methods were eventually adopted by Silver Era bodybuilders because of its success with George Hackenschmidt. So I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video on how George Hackenschmidt drank 5.2 liters of milk daily and the effect it had both on his physique and strength under Dr. von Krajewski's tutelage. If you have enjoyed this video, please give the video a like. And if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button and share the video if you enjoyed it. If you would like to support the channel, become a patron, visit my website for out-of-print books and courses, and get in touch via email to collaborate. I also have a campaign for a museum exhibition on the golden era of bodybuilding. Details are given below, so please support this campaign if you can. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now.
To take full advantage of my collaboration with Old School Labs, please visit their website and choose from their marvelous range of supplements using my code BOOKWORM12. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.